Thank you guys for joining me. I am Ken Canion, the host of Love, Lust, and Lies. And on today's topic, episode 36, is how to get the upper hand in relationships. Now, let me tell you why I phrased it that way. I phrased it that way because dating is simply as I said before, earlier this week, dating is we're gathering data. We're gathering data, and we're gathering data about someone else. Now, the question is, am I telling the truth on this? Y'all know I'm telling the truth. You know, a lot of times women get their heart broken. A lot of times they lose the upper hand. And the reason they lose the upper hand is because it is not, people think, it is the way that I look. It is, that's what's going to determine whether the person likes me or not. And the truth of the matter is, most people, when you start dating, you're pretty much on the fence. You don't know whether this is going to go left or going to go right, go straight. You don't know. So you're pretty much on the fence, and you're trying to see where it goes. Okay, you're trying to determine where it goes. And what happens is, the reason why many times a lot of men have the upper hand on women is because of, it is not what we say, it is what we do. Okay, I got my notes here, y'all, because I wrote this up and I thought about it. And I said, think about it. What about this, y'all? Okay, now y'all can relate to this. It is what about, have you ever dated somebody, you ever liked somebody? In dating, the ones you really don't like, they hang around, they stay around, they call you all the time, they communicate with you all the time, they buy you stuff, they want to take you out. The ones you don't like do all of the things that you wish the one that you do like do, right? So, y'all know what I'm talking about. Thank you for the smiling faces, because I know you know what I'm talking about. Now, but it's the one that you do like. It's the one that you do like, it's like he won't call, he don't text, and, he doesn't make himself available. And it's like, dang. It is like, dang, I can't get him to do what it is I want him to do. All right, so we're going somewhere with this. Now, what I'm going to talk about today, what I'm going to tell you today, what I'm going to give you the game today is I'm going to show you why that is, why that happens, why that occurs. And it's not what you think. So just start by this premise. Start with this premise. It is not the person nor you which determines the outcome. It is not your character, your person, how good you look, how fat your ass is, how big your breasts are. None of that. It is not that. It is the way you behave. It is the way, not now. It is the way you behave. And you're like, now, so what I want to tell you is we are governed by human behavior. We are governed by human behavior. And what happens is humans behave the way they behave because of human behavior. Now, y'all know that I always tell you things. I always tell you what to do. But I always tell you why to do based on human behavior, based on the way that humans act, the way the brain operates. That is my objective. And so because I've written 9 books, because I've read over 1,500 books in the area of human development, I kind of know why we do what we do. I'm still learning. The mind is the vast, mind is the unexplored, new region, what they say, the ocean, space, but the mind is that unexplored territory that we're still trying to figure out every day. And if you don't believe me, y'all, why is it that we do stuff that we know is not good for us? We know that it's counterintuitive to our well-being, but we would still do it anyway. And we can't figure out how the mind works. Well, I'm learning this. I'm learning how the mind works. And in this learning, I'm going to give it to you straight. All right. Okay, so let's start this today. You want to get the upper hand, getting the upper hand in relationships. Okay, remember what I told you. I just started by saying, number one, it's the guy that you don't like. The guy that you don't like that does everything that you do like. The guy you don't really like does everything that you like. Well, the guy that you like doesn't do any of the stuff you really like, and you're figuring out why. Well, let's start with the premise that it is not you, it is what you do. Because when you have a guy that you don't like, you act a certain way, okay? And when you have a guy that you do like, you act a different way. Now, y'all know I'm telling the truth. I done started preaching now. You know when it's a guy that you do like, you go over and above. What you do, you go over, you call him. Hey, you want me to bring you something to eat? I'll fix you something. You do all of these extra things for the guy that you do like, okay? And then the guy that you don't like, you don't do extra for him. You know, you even get irritated when you see his text come up. You get irritated when his name pops up. Now, you gave him your number because you're like, I don't really know where it's going to go. But I'm going to see where it's going to go, so I give him my number. But then, get this, and this is one of my clients, it made me laugh. She says, a guy that I don't like, he texting me all the time. He want to talk all the time. Then she met a guy that she does like, he texts me all the time. He wants to talk. I love that. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you schizo? I mean, what are you? So it brought me to this revelation. Is that everything you do, whether they like you or not, will depend on what you say. It won't depend on what you say. It will depend on what you do. So listen to me carefully. Let's get busy. I'm going to tell you this. If you want to get the upper hand in any relationship, the first thing you have to do is this. You have to act. The guy that you like, you have to act like you don't like him. Let's get them. Okay, so if there's a guy that you like, the reason why you're not getting the results that you want is because you have to act like the guy that you don't like. You have to do the exact opposite of what you would do. So why is that? I'm going to give you all of those things in a second. I'm going to give it to you in a second so that you understand. But understand this. The first premise of this is that you as a female, you do certain things with the guys that you like. You do certain things with the guys that you don't like. What I'm telling you is the guy that you don't like, you have a certain behavior. You're nonchalant. You don't return his call all the time. You don't do all of the things that you do with the guy that you do like. I'm going to tell you to act like the guy that you do like. I want you to do the same behavior as you do with the guy that you don't like. Okay? That's the premise. So let's get into it. How do you do that? So the question is, Ken, okay, you're telling me, and now I'm going to tell you why it works. I'm going to tell you what to do, as I told you before. First thing is number one, availability. Availability. With the guy that you don't like, you ain't that available. You're not that available. Not only are you not that available, if he calls you, you might go out with him if you want to. Okay? But the guy that you do like, every time he texts, you pick up the phone. Every time he calls, you pick up the phone. Even when he don't call. Then, in 2 to 3 weeks, you're calling him, asking him, where are we going with this? What are we doing? All of those things. But what I'm going to tell you is, if you want the upper hand in a relationship, you want him. So what I want you to do is act like you would with the person you don't like. Availability. It's called the law of scarcity. And the law of scarcity simply says this: that which is plentiful is underappreciated. Okay, so like diamonds. The reason why people buy diamonds, the truth is diamonds are a myth, y'all. Diamonds come from carbon, okay? Carbon. Diamonds are a myth, but what De Beers did a long time ago, what they said was diamonds are so scarce. And the truth is diamonds aren't scarce. Okay, diamonds, it's no different than copper or anything else, is that it was a marketing scheme. And we begin to believe that diamonds were scarce, so the value of them rose up. Okay, so what happens is that which is scarce, we deem it valuable. Let's relate that. When you're dating someone, number one, make yourself scarce. When you make yourself scarce, every time the fool calls, I'm not available. Every time the fool texts, I'm not available. Because what happens is, now in his mind, the person that I desire, okay, this person ain't calling me back. What's up? This person is scarce. Now, what do you do? But when you like somebody, what you do? You're always picking up. You're always texting the person back. You're always doing the things that let him know that you are readily available, that you're not scarce, and thus he devalues that. Now, y'all, whether you like playing a game or not, we are in a game, especially when you start out dating. When you're dating somebody, this is where we are with it. And so, think about this, okay? When you like a guy, you do everything. Baking cookies, baking him dinner, baking him all these things, which decreases your scarcity. And so then what he says is, be it subconscious or be it conscious, the thing that is not scarce, the thing that is always there, the thing that I do, I begin to take for granted that thing. Whether it's unconscious or whether it's conscious, it happens. So I always tell people, I say, look, number one, let's start with availability. Men always want something they can't have. They always, the need for having it, want something. Now, I'm not saying that you keep it and give it to them. I'm not even talking about that. What I'm simply saying is, what I want you to do is not making yourself available. Not so available. Okay? I'm not to get this. Stop trying to play hard to get. Be hard to get. I'll say it again. Stop trying to play hard to get. Be hard to get. Damn. So that's what happens, availability. Number two. Now we started to crawl. Now we cranking with grease. Number two is find meaning in your life outside of this person. Okay. Why is this important? Because what you have to do is a man has to believe that your life has meaning beyond him. Why is this important? This is important because if he believes that your world is revolved around him, two things happen. Two things, not one. Two things happen. Number one, he's going to begin to devalue it. Number two, he's going to begin taking you for granted. So what? And number three, you're going to begin relying on him for fulfillment of your happiness. A true man in a relationship wants to make you happy. I get it. He wants to make you happy. He wants you to exude happiness when you're around him. That part, yes, that is true. However, no man wants to be in a relationship with a person who has no life other than them, unless they want to control you. Now, there are a lot of men who want to control you, and they don't want you to have, that's an insecurity inside of them. But the truth of the matter is, most men want to be with a woman who has something going on. I always tell people, listen, if you want a great relationship, start finding something that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about shooting guns, if you're passionate about skiing, or you're passionate about school, something else in your life that you're passionate about, that is attractive. What that does for you, that does something for you as well. That does something for you is now you cannot become my world, you can become a part of my world. And see, no man wants that responsibility, even if he says it, even if he says that he doesn't want that responsibility. No man wants to be your world. What he wants to do is, he wants to get inside your world, but here's the thing. On the scale of hierarchy, meaning things that are most valuable, when you start dating a man, until a man earns his status in your hierarchy, you cannot give it to him. You cannot give it to him. What happens is men are getting this status on your status of hierarchy, but they didn't earn it. And and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, whenever a man gets something that he didn't pay for, that he didn't earn it, he's going to devalue it, period, whether you believe it or not. He's going to devalue it. So you cannot give him that status of hierarchy, of value on your list unless he earns it. If he does not earn it, you can't give it to him. Seriously. So the way you don't is, and y'all, this is a deeper thing. There are some people who aren't doing anything with their lives. And you're looking for a relationship to fulfill you. There is a problem with that because there is something inside of you that is not satisfied with you. There is a self-worth value. There's a value thing. There's a belief that you have about yourself, meaning I cannot get true happiness within myself. I need to look outside myself to get it, to gain it. That is a problem in and of itself. And until you are willing to address that problem, you can never be happy in a relationship, because the truth is, yeah, love is the answer. Love is the key. But if you don't love yourself, how could you ever truly love me? Oh, that was dope right there. But it is true. That is the reason why this coaching program that's going to be ready next week, y'all, this 5-day intensive that we're doing, Milani Shani and I, another business coach and relationship coach, she is so good. We're teaming up. She's going to talk about healing your past. I'm going to give you the practical tips and how to date. And we're going to team up, and that's going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. All right. Coming next week. We only have a few slots to do it. I know I keep pumping it up. I know. I'm pumping it up because I believe in it, you know. But y'all, if you are not healed first, if you're not willing to heal yourself, I often say this, and I'll say this, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You have been hurt, many of you. Many of you have been hurt, and the truth is you're not responsible for your pain. You're not responsible for what he did to you. You're not responsible for what mama said, daddy said, who molested you. You're not responsible. You were just a little kid. You're not responsible. But you are responsible for your healing. You are responsible to heal. That is your responsibility. Yes, you're not responsible for your pain, but you are responsible for your healing. And that you got to start now. And that's what we're going to help people do. All right. But I digress, y'all. I said that because I got you, Capricia. We're going to put you in there. I said that because it's going to be powerful. But the last thing, how do you get the upper hand in a relationship? How do you get the upper hand in a relationship? Now, this is powerful. This is so powerful. Where is it at on my page? Oh, yeah. Here we go. I be taking so many notes, y'all. I be ready. I'm ready every day. Oh, hey, look, listen. I stay ready to keep them getting ready. Number 3, and the last thing. And this is so important. Even if you've been in a relationship for quite some time, this applies. You must, number 3 is, you must create a level of uncertainty. Whenever you're in a relationship, if you ever want to get the other hand, you must create a level of uncertainty. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me break that down even further. Is simply this, is that when you're with a man, if the man if there is never a fear of loss, fear that he might lose you, fear that something. Now, I know, y'all, that I could walk outside. Any of us could walk outside because we don't know how long that we have on this earth. But there is a possibility I could walk outside and that'd be my last day. Yes, I know that. The problem is I'm not talking about that part, but I'm talking about the person is, if he doesn't have any fear that he may lose you based on his behavior, he will always, at some point in the relationship, take you for granted. I'll just be honest. You must create an element of doubt. You know, because what happens is when there's not an element of doubt, the appreciation for that thing goes away. Now, think about this for a moment, what I'm about to tell you. When there is not an element of doubt, the appreciation for that thing goes away. And let me tell you what I mean by that. What I mean by that. I simply mean that your hearing, let's say your hearing. Your hearing, you don't really appreciate your hearing. But if you went to the doctor and the doctor said to you, hey, Ken, your hearing, you're losing it. And the truth of the matter is you're losing 10% of your hearing every year. And, in 10 years, you won't be able to hear it all. What is it that you think that would happen to me? You would appreciate the hearing that you have. You would appreciate, now you would have a fine, now everything that you were around, you would try to hear it. You would say, wow, I would appreciate that which I have. The man in a relationship, it works the exact same way. If the fear of losing it is not there, then I will never fully appreciate it. And so, y'all, that is why I tell people, when I'm telling people, I'm saying, listen, if you're in a dating relationship and you're putting up with everything that he's doing, and you're allowing him to disrespect you, you're allowing him to screw somebody else, and you know about it. And I know somebody, y'all, that tormented herself. She put a camera in their crib, put a camera in the house, and would watch the dude screw somebody else, busted in on him one time, and still stayed with the dude. Still stayed with him. Now, what do you think happened? She's just conditioning him. You know what? All she is doing is rewarding bad behavior. If your child, it's like your child. Many of you have children out there. It's like my child. If she told me, all right, Dad, forget you, to hell with you, Dad, forget you. And then right after she tells me, to hell with me, my daughter, which my daughter ain't gonna do that, y'all. But if she did say that, and then I went out and bought her an iPhone, that's the shit y'all doing. You're out there you're rewarding bad behavior. The dude is acting bad, but then he calls you the next day and he says, I'm good, baby, how you doing? Then you let him come hit it. And so what you're doing is you're conditioning his mind to continue the negative behavior. You don't see it that way, but that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. Y'all, we have to stop this nonsense. You got to stop this nonsense. I can give you the game all day. I can empower you. I can tell you everything. But the truth of the matter is, if you're unwilling to receive it, if you're unwilling to accept it, and then it is not that. It is not that. Even the Bible says this, faith without works. Many of us Christians, all we do is say, if God want me to have it, if God want me to have a great relationship, he'll give it to me. That ain't the way it works. You got to do some work beforehand. You got to work on yourself. You got to become the person you want to attract. It says faith without works, Don't forget the work part. What people do is, if God want me to have it, well, he'll have it. And then it don't come. You say, well, it wasn't God's will. Well, the truth of the matter is, that's a lie. It was his will. But what he said was, I ain't going to give it to you without working. Okay? But if you believe, start doing the work. Believe. That's what faith is. Faith is you start doing the work. Believe. Start doing the work that you can have the man of your dreams. Start doing the work. Work on your body, your education, whatever it is you need to work on. Then when faith will come, then all of a sudden one day you in Walmart looking busted. And he all of a sudden see you, what's your name? What's your name? You ain't even looking at your pants and you like, the dude like me? What's up? Because you've been working on you. You've been doing the work. Y'all, work. That's what I'm saying. But these 3 ways that I just told you, this is how you get the upper hand in relationships. This is how you get, and y'all, whether you like it or not, it is a game. It's a game where we're collecting data. Relationships, dating is nothing but collecting data. And the truth of the matter is, if you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to collect data. You got to you got to collect data. So stop looking at it. And the truth of the matter is, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. Y'all, if you want a great career, you do the work. If you want a great body, you do the work. If you want a great this, you want a great that, you want a great anything, you do the work. Why is it that when it comes to relationship, we want a great relationship, but we don't want to do the work? Counterintuitive, isn't it? It is. All right, y'all. That's it for me today. My time is up. 30 minutes. Y'all know I give you 30 minutes. I'm going to scream and yell for 30, laugh and act a fool. But at the end of the day, my goal is to empower you. Empower you. And the truth is, some people are getting empowered. I I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for listening. All right, I'm Ken Canion. I'm the host of Love, Lust, and Lies. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all then.